The idea of citizen soldier is, when I spent 30 years in the military, and I retire from the military, and I meet all these great people and train with some great people, and you can see that there's that same warrior mindset that you dealt with when you were dealing with these guys deployed or what have you, but they just never joined the service. So citizen soldier is basically that same mindset. People who like to train, people who like to be able to take care of themselves and their families. And so the idea of citizen soldier is basically that just like the Spartans in the day, you were a citizen, but you were also a soldier, and you can handle your business as needed. I think the main difference in our training is that it comes down to two basic things. We solely focus on street combat. I mean, inside the home and outside the home. So today's world, let's face it, it's changed over the last 10, 15 years. What used to be a fair fight no longer exists. I mean, you have to expect that that person's going to have some type of weapon, or just if you consider the fact that more people, 2 to 3 times more people are killed with knives and blunt force objects compared to a gun, that kind of changes things a little bit. So we focus on the street. We also focus on the use of those weapons, both stick, knife, and gun. We do have requirements. They're right on the internet. You can take a look. We don't hide them. Show you what you need to have for Citizen Soldier Basic through master level. We offer classes in straight up jiu-jitsu, which is basically the bread and butter. That's where you get into the ground fighting, distance fighting. We also get into the stick and knife to some degree. There are gun requirements in that, but for the adults, the children classes are obviously different. They do stick fighting. There's a women's self-defense class. If women don't want to be in with a bunch of guys, let's face it, the great equalizers are the knife and the gun. Doesn't matter how big they are, how much they know, how fast they are. If you got a gun or a knife, you can make things go your way quick. So if you have the skill set. So we do offer women's self-defense, and it's primarily weapons, in addition to the children's classes. Everybody walks in with a different skill set. Depending on your upbringing, you could be a natural athlete. Like for me, I was a natural grappler. So the grappling arts were very easy for me compared to some other things. But anywhere from 6 months to 18 months for your first belt. I think the hardest part of that requirement is the shooting. Because let's face it, even our basic first belt testing for shooting far exceeds anything you'll see in law enforcement or on a standard military test. Because you think about it, most people get into a gun battle at that 18-foot. So everything's got to be happening fast. You got to be quick on your draw. You got to be quick on your mag changes. You got to be able to move off the X, we call it. Get out of the fatal funnel if you're clearing a house. How to clear a house. I mean, there's a lot of material to cover, and it's definitely worth the training. And it's about the journey. And there's a lifetime of learning. Okay, here at Citizen Soldier, the overall goal for our students, the overall goal for me is to make people comfortable in what they're doing. If you're not comfortable with what you're learning, you're not going to use it. That's a fact. I mean, you have to feel good about having that gun in your hand, having that knife in your hand, having that stick in your hand. You have to feel good about, oh, he's taking me to the ground. What can I do? You're going to know, and you're not going to stay there. Let's face it, that what we want to do at Citizen Soldier here is we want to get up and use our tools. I don't want to roll around on the ground with somebody in a street fight. Okay? My ultimate goal is to get up and use my tools. Okay? So, you know, and part of that is that feeling comfortable, is that pursuit for that warrior spirit, that constant drive to train and become this person that'll help you in daily life. It will help you on the job. It will help you in, you know, your relationships with your significant others. You got to learn to let go of that ego, okay? And then the training goes a lot smoother, trust me. My background in martial arts starts as a teenager in some karate systems, and then when I got stationed in Spain with the Air Force, I trained with a guy by the name of Bernardo Sakuro in a pueblo called Meco, and that was my first taste of jiu-jitsu. And I'll never forget that because it was I was always a grappler and what have you, so I was pretty good on the ground. And next thing you know, I was grappling with the instructor. I felt like I had him, and next thing I know, I was in an armbar tapping, and I was like, oh man, I gotta have that. From there, I went to Wright-Patterson, and I trained with Lono Ancho, who was an original student of Professor Okazaki, who was the founder of Danzen-ryu Jiu-Jitsu out of Hawaii. Ancho left Wright-Patterson in '88 and went to Central America. He left me to school. And when he left, he said, hey, Professor Okazaki, you know, he trained in the art of Kali, or Arnes. He goes, you need to pursue that more. And that's what he left me as he went on to Central America. So I took it to heart. I trained with quite a few different instructors in Kali. And it worked for me because it helped me later on to help out a lot of law enforcement, from law enforcement to the combatives branch at the Air Force Academy, the Judo Jiu-Jitsu coach at the Air Force Academy. And also when I went to Okinawa, Japan, I worked with the first of the first guys, Charlie Company, Army Special Ops, and you know, I trained those guys, some of those guys, for several years. I did a program for them over there, and also it also made me more attractive to guys like the Navy SEALs. I worked with SEAL Team 5 over there also. So, you know, I think the mix of the Kali and the Jiu-Jitsu is a good fit. It helps in the street mentality, and one has strengths and the other has weaknesses. You know, they complement each other. So.